Part 63. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 621. Although he couldn't kill the beings at the level of Celestial Dao, any Celestial Dao being couldn't do anything to him. And it's useless even if he fights with more than he has, this is his advantage. Day 2 came in a blink of an eye. Lin Yi sat in front of the floor-to-ceiling window and looked at the 3 boxes in front of him. Inside were 3 strange objects. There is also a Kinkan brocade bag, which is filled with various materials used by the sect in exchange. Lin Yi didn't care about these materials. Except for the soul and flesh pill, which he took out alone, he put away the rest. He took out 3 strange items, the first of which was the crown of destruction. This is a very exquisite crown, inlaid with countless gems, which is extremely luxurious. Judging from the appearance, it is different from the ancient emperor's flat crown. It is obviously an older king's crown. The turbulent spiritual waves were injected into it, instantly rushing into the deepest part of the crown of destruction, refining the most fundamental strange power within it. All the strange objects in Lin Yi's hands were refined by spiritual waves and were under his absolute control. This is something no one else can do. Most people have various restrictions and are very careful when using strange objects. The strange object itself is a very dangerous thing, and it will backfire on itself once it gets out of control. Therefore, even if you practice strange power, you are always dealing with death, which requires strong willpower and self-control. But Lin Yi had no such worries at all. His spiritual wave seemed to completely restrain the strange power. There is obviously some kind of secret in this. Faced with this strange force that can invade countless worlds, Lingbo can actually be completely restrained. There is naturally a profound secret here. And the fact that he obtained the foreign spiritual sutra by chance is very likely to contain an unknown marriage. The Book of Strange Spirits is definitely not something that came from nowhere. Its last owner didn't know what kind of existence it was. But now that he appears here, then the previous owner had 2 situations. Has died, or intentionally abandoned this thing. If it's the first reason, that means someone can kill me, even if the 6 true lives are complete. The other party also has a way to exhaust my spiritual waves and kill me. If it's Article 2, the problem is even bigger. Thinking of this, Lin Yi felt solemn in his heart, and he had a premonition. Sooner or later, the Book of Strange Spirits will bring him an irresistible danger. Then if I want to resist this unknown threat, I have only 2 ways. The first way is to deduce the 7th true destiny of the Sutra of Strange Spirits. The second path is to cultivate the 5th level of the true spirit tribulation of the Celestial Dao. No matter which of these 2 roads is completed, it will make me immortal. Then now my path is clear. If a person has no long-term worries, he must have immediate worries. Lin Yi never believed that there would be love for no reason, and luck would come to him for no reason. Everything is inevitable, and there is a conspiracy or reason hidden in it. I still have no clue about the 7th true destiny. I don't know how to deduce it. But there are traces of the 5th level of the Celestial Dao. First of all, I can quickly condense the Earth Immortal's true body through the flesh-spirit pill. Then the Supreme Divine Body can directly allow me to condense the true spirit and break through the threshold of the earthly immortal Dao and the heavenly immortal Dao at the same time. At this time, Lin Yi raised his hand slightly, and 3,000 different energy sources slowly flowed out in the void, rolling in his hand, dancing like a brilliant light, dancing like the elves controlled by him. Lin Yi took a deep breath, with a glint in his eyes. 3,000 vitality is completely under my control. There will be no problem in surviving the vitality tribulation. If my guess is correct, Xuanhuan is the one who achieved the path of immortality with this supreme divine body. But he probably never dreamed that the skills he had worked so hard to develop would be revealed to me. However, his supreme divine body still has flaws. It only consists of 108 talents. Only a part of the genetic structure has been changed, and a considerable part has not changed at all. A perfect divine body should involve all genetic material. But it doesn't seem that easy to find the innate abilities corresponding to the remaining genetic material. A thought flashed through my mind thoughtfully. Using this incomplete divine body to construct the earthly immortal body is not a perfect method. Thinking of this, Lin Yi hesitated slightly. What he wants is a perfect earthly immortal body. Only in this way can he go further in the heavenly path. Then before you can condense the earth immortal's true body, you must find the talent to replace the genetic material of your possessions. Moreover, we have to use the body of a human immortal to conduct experiments to perfectly integrate the talents without leaving any flaws or problems before we can use it as the true body of an earth immortal. Thinking of this, he already had a decision in his mind. The crown of destruction in his hand has been completely refined. Then the crown disappeared from Lin Yi's hands, and he had integrated into the attic of Wanchaiwu. A strange wave quickly enveloped the entire interior of the Wanchi house. Lin Yi could easily feel this kind of fluctuation, which was a kind of mental fluctuation. It was very terrifying, as if just a slight provocation could shake his spirit and drive him into madness. Feeling the spiritual fluctuations brought by the crown of destruction, Lin Yi's face was slightly solemn. He could feel this fluctuation, and unless he used the true destiny perseverance, he would fall into madness in an instant. Is this the first level weird object? It is so powerful and incredible. I feel that no magic weapon can resist this power. At this time, his earthly immortal soul still held the divine jade lotus. But he was sure that this divine jade lotus had no effect in the face of this fluctuation. After deeply feeling the power of the crown of destruction, Lin Yi's eyes fell on the second weird object. Infinite space. This is a structure without a specific shape, composed of countless small cubes, and looks like a transparent crystal. Lin Yi picked it up, and infinite spiritual waves were injected into it, rushing into its core in an instant, refining it. Then the infinite space disappeared at the same time. It merged into the second layer silently, and then wonderful changes occurred. This force quickly enveloped every corner of the Wanchi house, and all places were swept away. Lin Yi's heart moved slightly, and the underground maze changed. Its area was rapidly expanding thousands of times in a short period of time. Moreover, it changed from a plane to a three-dimensional structure, with the third, fourth, and fifth floors appearing. Under the control of the spirits, the underground maze became a total of 18 floors, and the area expanded to the point where each floor had a radius of tens of kilometers. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 622. At this time, Lin Yi noticed a slight change, and the strange aura in the Wanchaiwu instantly dropped by half. It seems that expanding this huge space will consume strange power, and a lot of it. Noticing this change, he showed a hint of surprise in his heart. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward.rog.s situation. Because the decline of the strange aura in the Wanchaiwu will bring an obvious benefit. That is, the level of strange existence that invades the Wanchaiwu every night will be sharply reduced. And he can feel that maintaining this open space also requires a constant infusion of strange power. Therefore, the strange aura that invades everything will be absorbed to maintain the existence of the space. Lin Yi thought about it, and his heart moved. More floors began to appear upstairs, and each floor became hundreds of rooms. At the same time, the third, fourth, and fifth floors also appeared, all the way to the 10th floor. 8 new floors were added, plus the original second floor. Each floor has 100 rooms, that is, 900 rooms, which can accommodate a large number of people. The bounty hunter's room is also ready. Lin Yi showed a smile in his eyes, and he was very happy. At this time, the overall weird atmosphere of the Wanchaiwu has dropped to less than 10% of the original. Even at night, it is probably no different from the daytime, and the invading weird existence will be very weak. Only the maze guards are needed to eliminate them, and Brandy and others can rest peacefully every night. At this time, Lin Yi looked at the third weird object. Anywhere door. This anywhere door was sealed in a palm-sized crystal. Lin Yi pinched his hand slightly, and the crystal ball was shattered, and a door about 2 meters high and 1 meter wide appeared. It was still the spiritual wave that was injected, and the anywhere door was quickly refined. All its information was mastered by Lin Yi. Then the anywhere door disappeared in the hall, and it was directly integrated into the door of the Wanchai-Wu. The anywhere door seemed to be an illusory existence that could be attached to any physical door, a strange and weird object. Lin Yi communicated with the anywhere door with his mind, and at this moment he seemed to see the entire Red Lotus world from the anywhere door. The world was indistinguishable in front of him, but some places were shrouded in light, and the anywhere door seemed unable to present the situation inside. Lin Yi thought in his heart, that is to say, the anywhere door cannot reach places affected by formations or powerful forces. After all, it's just a fourth-level weird object, which is normal. Thinking of this, Lin Yi's heart moved. The power of the 3 new weird objects was connected to the weird core, and it was completely integrated with the entire Wanchai-Wu. At the same time, several weird objects appeared in front of Lin Yi. The blood ring, the wailing ring, and the red jade comb, these purely offensive weird objects that no longer had much effect on him, broke away from the Wanchai-Wu. He looked at Brandy. Brandy. These 3 strange items are for you to use. They will be your weapons in the future. Brandy showed a hint of surprise on his face. Really? Thank you, manager. Brandy ran over with a bright smile on his face, took all 3 strange items in his hands, and played with them carefully. Absinthe on the side came to Brandy, got the new weapons, and had a jealous thought in his heart. He gritted his teeth. Damn it, why don't you give it to me? Thinking about it, he yelled at Lin Yi, Manager, you can't treat me differently. Lin Yi glanced at him. You, go wherever you feel cool. Discrimination, manager, you are nakedly discriminating. Absinthe jumped up and down in a rage, but unfortunately, no one paid attention to him. At this time, with the 3 strange items connected to the strange core, the attraction of the strange atmosphere in the Wanchai-Wu seemed to be even greater. In just a few breaths, a deep dark fog of strange power even appeared in the Wanchi house. But the next moment, these strange powers were sucked into the newly opened time and space. Finally, in the dynamic balance of appearance and absorption, the overall level of Wanchi without strange aura has reached 1/3 of the original. Feeling the change of the strange aura, Lin Yi nodded with satisfaction. The more strange items gather, the more frequently the Wanchi house will be invaded by strange things. Now there is something that constantly consumes strange power, which can greatly alleviate this situation. In the future, if Lin Yi wants to travel far, he will be more at ease. At this time, Lin Yi can feel that the space opened up by the infinite space seems to overlap with the outside world. But the overlapping time and space will be in another layer of time and space dimension, and will not be noticed by anyone. And this overlap is a perfect fusion, just like this newly opened time and space, it was originally this world. Lin Yi was suddenly stunned, and he vaguely sensed the horror of this infinite space. If there is enough strange power, can this infinite space cover the entire world? Then will this infinite space swallow up the entire world in the end? Thinking of this, he couldn't help but take a deep breath. He vaguely sensed the danger of strange things. But if you want to cover the entire world, the strange power required must be endless. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but shake his head, knowing that this was almost impossible to achieve. The 3 strange items were all integrated into the Wanchai-Wu, greatly enhancing the Wanchai-Wu's defense. The next step is to find humans with talent. Thinking of this, Lin Yi's eyes turned to the battlefield. Powerful people from various regions of the Red Lotus realm are constantly gathering. If there is a place where it is most likely to find people with talent, the battlefield is the most suitable place. Frontline Command Center. Dao Tianxian has summoned all the Tianxian Dao strongmen and strange people in the empire. In front of him are 3 crystals of 10,000 years of life. Everyone, what we can get now is about this 30,000-year life crystal. It took 60,000 years to exchange for the strange objects, and 40,000 years to exchange for the materials. They are expensive, and we must make good use of them. There are about 300 peak Earth immortals in the Empire. Each of them can get 100 years of life. To exert the power of the heavenly immortal level, at least 20 years of life must be burned at a time. After distributing these lifespans to them, they can burst out about 5 times of heavenly immortal power. That means we only have 5 chances. Emperor Tian has locked the location of the 2 soul hunters. Gu Huawei is on the front battlefield, needless to say. Now I want to ask everyone's opinions, should we get rid of the soul hunters first, or kill Gu Huawei first? We only have 5 chances, please think clearly. At this time, everyone had different expressions and fell into deep thought. After a long while, Mi Wuking of the Nishan Dao sect spoke first, get rid of the soul hunters first. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 623. Their origins are unknown, and based on their previous actions. Taiwanese novel network Rightward Arrow. Obviously, they have a considerable understanding of the strange existence. Otherwise, they would not have been so accurate on the battlefield at that time, and just happened to destroy the key to the reaggregation of the gate to the other world. He knows so much about us and the strange existence, and we know nothing about them except their names and purposes. The unknown is the biggest danger. My suggestion is to concentrate all efforts to solve the 2 of them first. And according to Emperor Tian's calculations, they are still in a state where they cannot completely descend. But 1 month later is the time when they really descend. It has been a while now, and we don't have much time to wait. And this is just my calculation. Maybe they have other means to speed up their own arrival. So there is not much time left for us. Listening to Mi Wuking's analysis, everyone's heart was slightly condensed. The sudden attack of the soul hunter in the battle the day before yesterday made everyone feel a sense of crisis. Mi Wuking's analysis made the hidden worry in their hearts even stronger. Xuanhuan on the side said in a cold voice, if we had more lifespan, this problem could be solved. Hearing Xuanhuan's words, everyone naturally knew what he wanted to say. However, the battle yesterday had made them understand the mystery of Lin Yi. Tongshenzi said slowly, everyone saw the battle yesterday. The power of this Lin Yi is too magical, and we have no way to deal with him. At least before solving the weird army and soul hunters, we don't have the time and energy to deal with him. The safest way now is to trade with him and exchange more lifespan crystals. But now we have exhausted what we can exchange. Everything else must be used to prepare for this war. Non-aggression with him is the best way. Everything will be discussed after the battle is over. Xuanhuan glanced at Tongshenzi, who was far stronger than himself in the past. But now he has climbed to the same position as Tongshenzi. Although he feels a little uncomfortable, he can't do anything to Lin Yi now, so he can only accept this result. Xuanhuan remained silent, but his gloomy eyes revealed his mood. He will definitely not give up. At this time, the deputy general manager on the side slowly said, in fact, we may be able to find a way to use the power of the store manager. What do you mean? Everyone's eyes fell on the deputy general manager. This person has special power and is almost immune to any power. Maybe we can ask him to do it. When we decide who to kill, let him be the vanguard. Entangle our target. Then we will focus on him and the target area. Anyway, he won't be hurt, but our target can't. It's equivalent to having someone as cannon fodder to help us firmly control the target person. When everyone heard this, they immediately showed a trace of thought in their eyes. This is indeed a very clever idea, which will greatly increase their chances of winning. Everyone's eyes lit up slightly. This is a war, and using all available power is the basic principle. But if we want to ask him to help, I'm afraid the price we have to pay will not be small, Dao Tianxian said calmly. What else do you think can be used as a price to ask him to help? He now has countless classics, minerals, spiritual herbs, elixirs, natural treasures, etc. That is almost equal to the entire foundation of the two sections. Everyone fell into silence, and then Tongshenzi slowly said, in these two transactions, the sect contributed the most. If we want to ask him to help, I'm afraid the empire will have to pay some of the price this time. I heard that he seems to be very interested in strange objects. I wonder if we can start from this aspect. Tongshenzi looked at Huang Yuxian, waiting for the director of the empire's strange object management department to express his opinion. Huang Yuxian thought for a moment and said slowly, it's not impossible to ask him to help. But he has already seen the strange objects in the management office and only selected 3. The 16,000-year life crystal, if he really wanted other strange objects, he would have chosen them long ago. So if you want to rely solely on strange objects, the probability of asking him to help is not high. The deputy director shook his head and said, Director Huang Yuxian, you are blinded by one thing. The store he opened is called Wanchaiwu, which specializes in solving troublesome problems for others, as long as you pay the price. So the important thing is whether there is a price to pay, not whether this thing is what he wants. So we just need to go to him and pay enough, and there is a high probability that he will take action. With his help, our goal will be easier to achieve. And if he reveals a flaw in this mission, wouldn't that be more in line with our goal? Everyone immediately understood that this was indeed a strategy to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Dao Tianxian said slowly, how about you, Master Huang Yuxian, take charge of this matter. Huang Yuxian frowned slightly. He had a relationship with the Yinggong family. The eldest lady of the Yinggong family seemed to have a special relationship with Lin Yi and asked him to protect Lin Yi. Although he did not protect Lin Yi in the end due to the situation, he did not want to be the kind of person who plotted against others. It was unreasonable for him. But now looking at the eyes of these people, he frowned, thought about it and said, let the deputy director talk about this matter. Don't you have a grudge against him? You set a trap for him yourself. If it succeeds, you should feel very accomplished. The deputy director glanced at Huang Yuxian. This old weirdo had always suppressed him in the past. Now he is also a weirdo, so he can be on an equal footing with Huang Yuxian. At this time, the other party mentioned himself, which was obviously not well intentioned. But he didn't say anything. Okay, I'll go if I want. I wonder what Lin Yi's expression will be when I, his former enemy, come to his house and ask him to do something. Since the deputy director agreed, the list of strange objects appeared in Huang Yuxian's hand. This is the list of strange objects. He threw it to the deputy director. Taking the list, the deputy director looked at everyone and said, I'll do this. Next, we should decide who to kill. Let's just vote. We'll kill the side that gets the most votes. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 624. There is no time to keep arguing here, it's meaningless, Mi Wuking of the Nishan Dao sect said slowly. Everyone thought about it and did not object. Dao Tianxian narrowed his eyes slightly, let's start. 1 minute later, the voting data was already very clear. 7:6, kill the soul hunter first, Dao Tianxian's voice was full of murderous intent. The time is set for tomorrow morning. Deputy Director, please invite Lin Yi. The deputy director stood up from his seat with a cold face, and disappeared here with a flash of an inexplicable smile on his face. In the Wanchaiwu, Lin Yi was using his true destiny to constantly observe the battlefield. He was looking for people with talents in the front-line troops of the empire. It is not an easy task to search one by one among millions of people. Throughout the morning, he only found 3 people with talents. The talent of one of them has been included in the talent of the Supreme God body. It's not that easy to find other types of talents. It takes a lot of time. But I don't lack time now. The forces of the Red Lotus realm can no longer pose a fatal threat to me. At this moment, a figure suddenly appeared outside the door of the Wanchaiwu. The man pushed the door open and entered, and the powerful breath of Yuga rushed to his face. Everyone in the Wanchaiwu looked at him. Lin Yi looked at the person who came in, with a hint of surprise in his eyes and a faint sneer on his face. It turns out to be the deputy director. I don't know what brought you here. My temple is too small to accommodate a big Buddha like you. The deputy director had a smile on his face, and he didn't care about Lin Yi's sarcasm at all. It's nothing special, just a mission. I don't know if you are interested. I'm only here on behalf of the Empire. Oh, mission, I don't know what mission it is. Tomorrow morning we will attack the soul hunters and gather all our strength to wipe them out of this world. We need you to restrain these 2 people. Your power can ignore any attack, we need you to help hold them back. Then we will use our maximum power to launch a saturation attack on them. Concentrate fire on them and eliminate them. Hearing this plan, Lin Yi's mind flashed, and he already knew what these people were thinking. In a battle at the level of celestial beings, if the opponent is determined to run away and wants to kill the opponent and leave him, it is almost impossible. Unless someone is willing to make sacrifices, go all out, stop the opponent, and create opportunities for others. The Empire's ultimate blow is naturally a fatal blow that burns the lifespan of many earthly immortal masters. The power of hundreds of celestial beings is gathered together. After the transformation of the war, no existence can resist. The target person and the person who entangles the target are naturally within the attack range, and it is self-evident what their outcome will be. But Lin Yi is different. He can ignore any attack. Even the power of countless immortals cannot hurt him at all. You want me to be cannon fodder? Interesting, it's not impossible, but what price do you have to pay in order to let me be this cannon fodder? The price is here. You can choose any of the weird things in the list. You can choose 1 level 1 weird thing, 3 level 2 weird things, 5 level 3 weird things, and 10 level 4 weird things. When Lin Yi heard this condition, he was undoubtedly moved. Each weird thing represents a wonderful characteristic. Especially the level 1 weird thing, it is something that can definitely affect the combat power of the immortal level. There are only 2 level 1 items in the entire weird thing management office. One of them, the Crown of Destruction, is already in his hand. The other one is called the Spear of Nothingness. This is an offensive weird thing. Anything pierced by this weird thing will turn into nothingness in an instant. Whether it is energy, time, and space, or matter and soul, there are no exceptions. It can be said to be a first-level must-kill item. It stands to reason that such a powerful thing should have been used long ago. It can be used to deal with ancient painting gray and soul hunters. This thing can be called a killer. But the reason why it was not used is that it has a condition for use. Every use consumes the life and soul of the user. As long as the Spear of Nothingness is used, the user's soul will be scattered and will definitely die, and the person being targeted will also definitely die. This is a thing that is close to the law of cause and effect. Once used, it will lead to 2 inevitable results. To use the Spear of Nothingness, the minimum level must reach the combat power of the Earth Immortal Deo level to be able to hold the Spear of Nothingness. Because of this huge restriction, No one has ever thought of using these things. Unless you really want to perish together, it is possible to use this thing. Lin Yi said without thinking, I want the spear of nothingness. Hearing Lin Yi's words, the deputy director was stunned. He thought Lin Yi would choose a strange object, but he didn't expect that he would really want the spear of nothingness. This item is almost one of the most dangerous things in the strange management office. Its lethality is almost absolute, but because of this, it is strictly restricted and will not be obtained by anyone. Because no one wants to die suddenly and inexplicably. After all, for the masters of the heavenly immortal Dao, life is also the only thing. If someone uses some conditions to force a certain earthly immortal Dao level master, let the other party use his life and soul to use this weapon, then all the heavenly immortal Dao level masters in the Red Lotus realm will not feel at ease. This kind of thing has happened in the past. You must know that for millions of years, in the days when there were no sects, the power of the weird side was the only supernatural power in the Red Lotus realm. Before the establishment of the empire, the weird forces existed for countless years. There were countless battles and killings in the meantime. There was no shortage of forces that mastered the spear of nothingness. This first-level weird object appeared too long ago and it is almost impossible to trace. But every time it appeared in front of the world, it represented the fall of a weird-level existence. This is almost a strategic-level weird object, but the cost of using it is too high. No one is willing to use it unless it is a life-and-death moment or when they are completely desperate. Every time this weapon is used, it mysteriously disappears. It is said that once this weapon is used, it will cause strange changes and then disappear from the world. At some point in the future, it will reappear and fall into someone else's hands. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 625. Anyone who knows this weapon will never reveal it once they get it. Because this is a weapon that can be used for final revenge. Although there is only one chance, it can take the enemy to death. Since this weapon fell into the empire, it has never been used and has been sealed in the deepest part of the weird management office. The deputy director took a deep look at Lin Yi. Are you sure? The spear of nothingness can only be used once. This thing doesn't seem to have much effect on you, right? Lin Yi smiled slightly. This is a good thing. If I really have to die one day, this thing can at least let me and the enemy die together. If I am destined to die, then I will not let my enemies live. The deputy director snorted coldly. Humph, okay, this thing is the price. Lin Yi smiled slightly. Then I will get this thing tomorrow. Then you can start your plan. The deputy director took a deep look at Lin Yi. Okay. For the spiritual strange in front of him, he always held great vigilance. After all, this is a guy who dared to attack the top masters of the Earth Immortal Dao in the Ghost Immortal Dao. After saying that, the deputy director turned around and left the Wanchaiwu. Watching the deputy directors disappearing back, Lin Yi showed a sneer in his eyes. He naturally saw what these people were planning. After he entangled the Soul Hunter, the Empire's concentrated fire attack would definitely fall on him. If he couldn't stop it, he would die with the Soul Hunter. If he could stop it, they wouldn't lose anything. For them, this was just an attempt to crack Lin Yi's mysterious power. This kind of power that can be immune to all attacks, anyone would be jealous. Those cunning Tianxiandao and weirdos are naturally no exception. But it's not bad to get a spear of nothingness. Maybe I can use it for trading in the future. There is no shortage of people in this world who want to die together for revenge. But if you want to exchange for the spear of nothingness, most people should not be able to afford the price. But it's also good as a collection and a finale weapon. Brandy came over with a worried look on his face. Manager, do you really want to go with them? I think these people have bad intentions. Lin Yi glanced at Brandy and said lightly, of course I know they have bad intentions. But it doesn't matter. If you don't accept something that's delivered to your door, you'd be a fool. And even if they want to do something, it's useless. They can't break my power. Looking at the confident Lin Yi, Brandy didn't say anything else. He has never seen Lin Yi fight a battle that he is not sure of. In the western province of the Red Lotus realm, an accident is happening here at this time. In a city, a desperate scene is being staged. Soul Hunter Wuodao and Xuanhuan came here. A twisted light enveloped the city, and no life in the city could break through it. These lights seemed to have life, extending one colorful arm after another, grabbing the life in the city below. At this time, a man and a woman hiding in the sewer looked very terrified. They tried their best to restrain their breath and did not dare to leak it. Both of them had reached the peak of the top, and they were only one step away from entering the human immortal path. But at this time, they were like the most ordinary mortals, weak and helpless. They could only hide themselves as much as possible and avoid the ubiquitous arms in the sky. These arms were as illusory as the twisted light in the sky, and their power was directed to the heart. At this time, an arm rushed into the sewer and slowly extended towards the two people. The man and woman hid in the corner of the sewer. They saw the light that was constantly approaching here. They looked at each other and showed fear. However, the light did not find them in the end, but slowly disappeared. The sewer was dark again. The man and woman looked at each other, the fear in their eyes disappeared, revealing a trace of joy after surviving the disaster. But at this moment, the man's eyes showed fear, looking at the woman's back. It turned out that a hazy arm passed through the wall of the sewer and came directly behind the woman. At this time, the woman also saw the fear in the man's eyes. She opened her mouth to say something, and the man in front of her had already pushed her. The huge force pushed her out in an instant, and despair appeared in the woman's eyes. Why? Husband and wife are birds of the same forest, and they fly away when disaster strikes. Not to mention that the two of them are just lovers. She didn't expect the other party to be so cruel. In the face of danger, he actually used himself to block the disaster without hesitation. But she had no other way, because a cold hand had grabbed her neck. The next moment, she felt her body lighten, and then he saw a horrible scene. Self seemed to be pulled out of her body. She saw her illusory hands, and a sense of enlightenment rose in her heart. This is a soul. Yes, this illusory arm will not grab their entities, but only their souls. The woman's soul was grabbed by the cold big hand. She felt that this coldness was rapidly spreading to the depths of her soul. Her consciousness became shaky in this coldness, and she was completely unable to control her soul. She could only watch herself being frozen by this coldness, and there was nothing she could do. Fear and despair appeared in her eyes, and finally her soul turned into crystals as if frozen. Then she followed this illusory arm and pulled back towards the sky. At this time, the fleeing man also showed despair on his face. Because there was also an illusory arm blocking the way in front of him. At this time, this arm had grabbed his hand, and with a sudden pull, his soul was taken out. He could never escape the end of death. The big hands that retracted in the sky were all holding a frozen soul. At the top of the sky, in the middle of the twisted area, there was an illusory area. It seemed to exist in another time and space. All souls would be caught in it, and two figures inside stood quietly in the center of this space. All around were densely packed mountains of frozen souls, with a number of millions. These frozen souls continued to melt under the burning of an illusory flame. A long river of pure souls converged towards Wuodao and Xuanhuan in the middle. These souls madly poured into their mouths and were absorbed by the colorful light molecules in their bodies. As they absorbed more souls, their bodies began to become more real. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 626. When they first descended, there was always a sense of illusion. But now, as they absorb more and more souls from the Red Lotus realm, their bodies seem to adapt more and more to the rules of the Red Lotus realm. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow. The distorted spiritual realm around them is becoming more and more real, and the boundaries of the spiritual realm are becoming like crystals. The spiritual realm is a secret method created by the Soul Master to invade the unknown world. Anyone who enters other worlds will be attacked by the world, their luck will drop to the extreme, and all kinds of natural and man-made disasters will sweep in. But this spiritual realm can avoid this situation, but the only problem is that the arrival of the spiritual realm is gradually realized. The spiritual realm is actually a bubble attached to any world, composed of the power of the soul. It is necessary to continuously absorb the life soul of the world so that the bubble and the origin of the world can merge, and then the spiritual realm can truly descend. Intruders in the spirit realm can also gradually adapt to the world they want to invade in this process, and complete the adaptation through the absorption of souls. In the end, they will no longer be targeted by the power of the world and will completely adapt to this world. Without the suppression of the world, it is difficult to resist the invasion of the Soul Master by relying solely on the autonomous resistance of the life inside the world. Of course, there is never a lack of powerful beings in the world. There are some extremely powerful worlds with an infinite number of strong people. Even the invasion of the Soul Master often fails. There are 3 levels of the advent of the spirit realm. The first level consumes the least amount of invaders and requires the least cost, which is called the first moon. The spirit realm at this level has almost no power, and the invaders cannot affect the invaded world. The spirit realm needs to constantly lure souls into it, and it takes dozens or hundreds of years to completely descend. For the invaders, the initial resource consumption is the least. The second level is called the half moon. The spirit realm at this level can directly interfere with the invaded world, and the invaders will also descend directly into the invaded world. However, this level requires a lot of initial resources, and the invaders can only use half of their own power. The third level is called the full moon. By consuming a large amount of resources, the spirit realm is directly assimilated with the world, so that the invaders can come completely. However, the resources required are huge. Unless the benefits far outweigh the costs, the forces dominated by the soul will not do this. This time, Xuanhuan and Xuanhuan chose the half-moon arrival of the spirit realm, and they could only exert half of their power. But as the spirit realm and they absorbed a large amount of power from the Red Lotus realm, the spirit realm was rapidly and completely descending, and their power was also recovering. You must know that each of them is a terrifying existence close to the void catastrophe. It's just because the invasion is restricted, otherwise the current celestial level combat power of the Red Lotus realm alone is not their opponent at all. Xuanhuan and Xuanhuan are immersed in the harvest of souls. Every soul is a peerless delicacy for them, making them feel happy from the deepest part of their souls. Suddenly, Xuanhuan and Xuanhuan woke up at the same time, and they felt a kind of danger sweeping towards them. You feel it too? Xuanhuan frowned. Yes, it's very dangerous, so strong that it woke me up. What kind of danger can alarm our spiritual essence? A face unconsciously appeared in Xuanhuan's mind. Lin Yi. I saw Lin Yi, the person we located, the danger comes from him. Him. Your spiritual omen has never been wrong, it seems that this person has a problem. What should we do? Xuanhuan looked at Xuanhuan and asked. Logically speaking, this person is at most a celestial immortal. Although he has extraordinary power, he may not be able to kill us. So the danger must come from the existence related to him, Xuanhuan analyzed. Xuanhuan frowned, and a trace of outline appeared on his transparent face. I know, he is in alliance with the Empire, and they want to target us. These existences of the cultivation path are proficient in calculations, and they must have noticed our danger, so they are ready to get rid of us first. Zixuan's eyes flashed with wisdom, as if he had figured out the whole thing. Wu Dao sneered, in this case, let's go find the mysterious pioneer of the invasion and unite with him. Set up a trap and wait for them to enter the net. Let them come and never return. Zixuan nodded, this is a good idea, and the harvest of the city is almost complete. Once the spirit domain absorbs these souls, it can completely descend. Let's go and talk to the mysterious pioneer first. As they spoke, the power of the two instantly permeated the spirit domain, and the entire spirit domain trembled slightly, and shrank violently to an area of less than 100 square meters. Then the entire spirit domain began to tremble, and the instantly torn void drilled into it and disappeared. The disappearance of the spirit domain was also sensed by Emperor Tian, who had been monitoring them. In Emperor Tian's mind, the starry sky evolved by future star tribulation kept running, tracking a vague spirit domain brilliance. He saw this group of brilliance and rushed into the strange army. Seeing this scene, he frowned deeply, not knowing what was going on. Why did these two soul hunters run into the strange army? Last time, they destroyed the killer of the strange army at a critical moment. Now running to contact them, isn't it asking for trouble? Just as he was thinking, the news had quickly spread to the top leaders of the entire empire. A meeting was quickly held. In the strange army, Gu Huawei looked at Wu Dao and Zi Xian who appeared in front of him, and a trace of murderous intent appeared in his eyes. You two dare to appear in front of me. Don't you know how to write the word death? The endless strange power formed a mist around, accompanied by Gu Huawei's cold words. This endless mist quickly gathered and rolled, and it seemed that there were mysterious monsters surging in it. It might rush out at any time, tearing the two people in front of them into pieces and venting their anger. Wu Dao and Zi Xian looked at the rolling mist around them, indifferent. He just said calmly, "Mysterious pioneer and messenger, we come here with good intentions. We want to unite with you to eliminate the natives of this world. I don't know if you are interested." As he spoke, two supreme powers, one white and one purple, rose from them. At this time, the descent of the spirit realm had been completed for the most part, and the power of the two of them had recovered to 70%. This power has completely surpassed any master of the heavenly immortal Dao in the Red Lotus realm and reached an incredible realm. Gu Huawei had such a keen eye that he could instantly see their level. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 627. Is it a power that is infinitely close to the level of the void tribulation? In fact, he himself is about to reach this level, otherwise he would not be able to become the leader of the strange army. He was originally an invincible master in the Red Lotus realm, but he was outnumbered. He was beaten so badly last time, and now he has only recovered 70% of his strength in his heyday. The entire battlefield has also fallen into a stalemate because of his weakening power. Looking at Wu Dao and Zixuan showing their strength, Gu Huawei thought deeply. How do you want to cooperate? Wu Dao and Zixuan smiled, we want to cooperate like this. The front-line command center, Dao Tianxian and other Tianxian Dao and strange masters all gathered here. Emperor Tian said with a serious face, when I was tracking the two soul hunters, I found that they had broken into the strange army. According to my calculations, the two forces seem to be merging. Once they completely merge, the future I see is dark. We will be heading towards destruction. So my suggestion is to act immediately. Don't give them the opportunity and time to merge. Dao Tianxian frowned when he heard this, and looked at the imperial Huang Yuxian. What do you think? Huang Yuxian sneered, no time to waste, just act directly. Start the ultimate battle immediately. One battle will decide the outcome. Dao Tianxian looked at the other people in the sect, what do you think? Yes, Mi Wuking sneered. The Peacock Taoist and several Tianxian Dao high-level people also nodded, good. The danger of soul hunters is related to the way of Taoism, and they can't be careless. Dao Tianxian looked at Huang Yuxian. Our sect has no objection. Huang Yuxian turned to look at the hospital director and the president of the Weird Association. What about you two? We can also take action, and all the people on the weird side will be mobilized. Huang Yuxian nodded. Okay, I'll go inform Lin Yi. We need him to take action with us. Everyone, start preparing, the decisive battle will begin in an hour. Everything was done vigorously, and the entire empire's front line was in operation. The sky was filled with endless dark clouds, and thunder was shaking the sky. The world was dark, as if the world had a premonition of the battle of survival, which was about to begin. In the Wanchaiwu, Lin Yi looked at the sky with a flash of lightning and dark clouds, thinking. A night of murder with wind, rain, thunder, and lightning. Interesting. Clang. Ring ring ring. The door of the Wanchaiwu was pushed open, and Huang Yuxian had already arrived in the Wanchaiwu. Bang. A wooden box that was 2 meters long rolled out of his hand and fell in front of Lin Yi. This is what you want, the spear of nothingness. Lin Yi looked at the wooden box on the table, the light of the true destiny solution flashed in his eyes, and he instantly saw through everything in the wooden box. An object made of a group of extremely deep and strange power. Its structure and characteristics are very strange, and it contains the deep secrets of the strange power. Even if Lin Yi used the true destiny solution, he could not directly see the secret. Every moment, the spiritual wave is consumed violently. He only took a glance and didn't look at it again. If he continued to look, the spiritual wave consumed would be very huge. There is no need to analyze its secret for the time being. He stretched out his hand and opened the wooden box. Inside was a spear about 1.7 or 1.8 meters long. The spear was gray, without any special color, just pure gray, like the gray of stone. He stretched out his hand to take the spear in his hand, and the spiritual wave quickly injected into it, refining the essence of the spear at an astonishing speed. Then the spear disappeared in Lin Yi's hand, and he had merged into the backyard of Wanqi House, together with the mobile thatched house. After getting what he wanted, Lin Yi looked at Huang Yuxian, smiled and said, "Lead the way." At the front line command center, the army was ready to go. Tens of millions of combat robots and more than 3 million coalition forces of the Empire have all been displayed in front of the weird illusion. In front of them is a defense line composed of 13 weird illusions, which contains countless weird armies, and they are temporarily intercepted there. Under the order, the Empire coalition has temporarily withdrawn from the weird environment defense line, leaving the weird illusion completely to the weird army. And all this is to prepare for the upcoming big move. 14 figures appeared in the center of the army, and around them there were more than 300 Earth Immortal practitioners and about 200 Earth Immortal level Weird Side Masters. This time, the Earth Immortal Masters will be the main force, and the Weird Side is the main force against the Weird Army. Because the Weird Side does not have the ability to burst life. Tang Shenzi looked at everyone. I am the commander of the entire front in this war. I will command the entire operation. Everyone is here now, and the whole army will set out in 10 minutes. In view of the confluence of the strange army and the soul hunters, this war will be the most dangerous one. So all the weapons of the Empire will be used in this war. After the Empire's weapons are deployed and Gu Huawei and the 2 soul hunters are forced out, it's time for you to take action. Everyone looked at Tang Shenzi and nodded slightly, and no one had any objections. At this time, Tang Shenzi looked at Lin Yi. Mr. Lin, you need to take action now. Your power is very special. We need you to locate the soul hunters and the ancient painting society. At the same time, there are 3 sun gods in this Kinkan bag. When you find the ancient painting ash and the 2 soul hunters, please activate these 3 sun gods. Then, many heavenly immortals and earthly immortal masters headed by the sect will use formations, burn their lifespans, and connect all their forces to carry out concentrated fire attacks. Make sure to kill the 2 soul hunters and the ancient painting ash with one blow. Your success or failure is related to the success or failure of this final battle. Please make sure to go all out, Mr. Lin. Lin Yi took the kinkan bag handed over by Tongshenzi, and Zhenmingdaija looked at one of them and saw 3 strange oval bombs the size of a person. Tongshenzi said slowly, "These 3 bombs have been set. There is a red button at their tails. Once you locate the 3 people, press the tail switch of the sun god. They will all explode within 1 second. So what Mr. Lin has to do is to prevent the 3 of them from destroying the sun god within this second." Lin Yi nodded and said, "It's not a big problem. Then I'll go first, and you should be ready to take action at any time." Lin Yi accepted the task and would naturally complete it 100%. This is his rule. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 628. Looking at Lin Yi, who disappeared in the flash, everyone's eyes were uncertain. Xingyuezi and the deputy general manager were cold and murderous, and the others also had inexplicable expressions in their eyes, and they were curious about this mysterious Lin Yi. They had already obtained the other party's experience through various means. But it was precisely because they knew almost all the surface information of this person that they felt incredible. There was absolutely no suspicious place that could allow them to find the source of Lin Yi's power. Lin Yi used the true destiny to escape directly underground, and came to the strange army a few minutes later. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward arrow. The strange army filled the sky, underground, and the ground, and there was no gap in the 4 directions. Lin Yi was discovered as soon as he arrived here. The strange existences underground were almost all illusory. They were like cats that smelled fish, and they quickly pounced on Lin Yi, as if they wanted to tear him apart here. Lin Yi's true destiny solution has been opened, and he is searching for Wudao, Zixuan, and Gu Huawi's traces. At this time, his eyes saw the illusory pyramid located below the strange army. It was a wonderful pyramid composed of countless strange forces, and it was now taking shape bit by bit. His eyes naturally saw what it was. This is the source of the last time the door to the other world was opened. So that's it, this golden word itself is the coordinates of the door to the other world. Once completed, the other world can continuously locate the Red Lotus realm, thus continuously opening the door to the other world. As long as this place is not destroyed, the door to the other world will never disappear. No wonder the Empire concentrated its fire to destroy the door to the other world last time, but the door to the other world quickly recovered. If it weren't for the 2 soul hunters, I'm afraid the Empire would have fallen. Lin Yi's eyes did not linger here for long. After figuring out the source of the door to the other world, he continued to look for his target this time. Soon, his eyes fell on the tip of this illusory pyramid. There stood a man, an acquaintance of his. Ai Cheng. Why is he here? How did he become like this? In his eyes, Ai Cheng was no longer a living person, but had completely turned into a strange being. Only in the deepest part of his soul was there a glimmer of humanity. That seemed to be Ai Cheng's deepest consciousness. Lin Yi was silent for a moment, and he felt a little sorry for this reporter with a sense of justice. So you have already fallen. Shaking his head slightly, Lin Yi looked at the 3 figures next to Ai Cheng. They were Gu Huawi and 2 soul hunters. At this time, their eyes were already looking at Lin Yi, when Lin Yi stepped into the strange army and was discovered by those strange beings. Gu Huawi already knew of his arrival. Gu Huawi was very strange. Is this guy the guy who fought against many immortals last time? He actually came here alone to die. He really doesn't know how to live or die. At this time, countless strange beings had arrived in front of Lin Yi and attacked him. A dark golden glow flashed around Lin Yi, and he rushed to the surroundings like a torrent. This dark golden torrent contained countless undercurrents. Any strange existence caught in it would be worn away by countless forces and eventually disappear. At this moment, Lin Yi exerted a great power that was almost at the level of a celestial being. Sweeping the entire field, no strange existence could get close to him. He did not directly withstand the attacks of these strange existences, and he did not need to do so now. He took a step forward, and the terrifying speed burst out instantly. In just a few breaths, he had already arrived in front of Gu Huawei and others. Looking at Lin Yi who suddenly appeared in front of him, Gu Huawei's dark eyes showed a hint of surprise. Interesting, what kind of power is this? It actually gives me a sense of danger. Wu Dao on the side said slowly, this person is not from the Red Lotus realm, he comes from an unknown time and space. He has a wonderful power and can even travel through other worlds. A very dangerous person. Gu Huawei narrowed his eyes upon hearing this and looked at Lin Yi and said, what's your name? You can call me Lin Yi. So it's Mr. Lin, I wonder why you came to me. I came to you because someone paid me to pester you. Petition us? What do you mean? Gu Huawei looked up and down at Lin Yi with a little confusion. A kinkan bag appeared in Lin Yi's hand, you'll know in a moment. As soon as the voice fell, 3 oval-shaped sun gods appeared in front of them. And at the moment the sun gods appeared, Lin Yi had already pressed their buttons. The 3 immediately felt a faint sense of danger. Wu Dao, Zixian, and Gu Huawei attacked at the same time, attacking the 3 sun gods respectively. Their power shook time and space, and the space was torn apart, as if it would fall on the 3 sun gods in the next moment. But at this moment, a Xuanhuan tower rose above Lin Yi's head, and a majestic dark golden energy was injected into it. In an instant, a deep Xuanhuan power had fallen. It enveloped the 3 sun gods, making them invincible. Bang bang bang. The 3 forces collided with the Xuanhuan qi in the dark. The violent force directly made the Xuanhuan qi tremble endlessly. Countless cracks covered the entire Xuanhuan qi in an instant. The next moment, the Xuanhuan pagoda was directly shattered under the impact of this boundless force. A top-grade magic weapon, facing the great power of 3 Tianxiandao, could only support it for a moment. But this moment was enough. 3 scorching rays of light exploded from behind Lin Yi, instantly sweeping the entire weird army. Hundreds of millions of high temperatures rose behind Lin Yi, and everything within a range of 1 kilometer was directly vaporized. A huge mushroom cloud rose into the sky, and endless shock waves swept around. At this time, in front of the Imperial Coalition, there was a defense line composed of weird illusions. After arriving here, countless shock waves directly rushed into the weird illusion. The weird existence shrouded by the god of the sun was suddenly thrown to the ground. The huge amount of radiation vaporized those weak and strange beings instantly. Electromagnetic radiation and scorching high temperature turned the 1 kilometer radius of the explosion core into a dead land, and everything ceased to exist. However, at the center of the explosion, 3 balls of light of different colors withstood the sudden explosion. Gu Huawei was filled with pure black and strange power, forming a ball of black light that enveloped him and Ai Cheng. A distorted spiritual domain covered the 100-meter radius around Wu Dao and Xuanhuan. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 629. The pure golden scorching light and infinite electromagnetic radiation all around them madly hit them. The black light of the ancient painting gray was constantly evaporating under this force. The strange power seemed endless and always maintained a balance of consumption. The spiritual realm was as stable as Mount Tai. Some crystal structures even appeared on its twisted border, firmly blocking the power of the nuclear explosion. Lin Yi looked at the scene with a hint of surprise in his eyes. The power of the Tianxiandao level can really resist the most advanced weapons of mankind. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow dot. Before the emergence of weapons more powerful than nuclear bombs, the simple technological system has no effect on these existences. Unless it is a black hole bomb, everything will be decomposed under that kind of gravity. Even the existence of the Tianxiandao level is no exception. At this time, Lin Yi was shrouded in the power of the true destiny. No matter how the high temperature, impact, and radiation around him raged, they had no effect on him, and the spiritual wave consumed slowly and evenly. Wuodao, Xuanhuan, and Gu Huawei stared at Lin Yi coldly. This is your plan? Technology series nuclear weapons. What a pity, we have seen this kind of weapon many years ago. It has no effect on our level. Wuodao and Xuanhuan laughed at Lin Yi coldly, as if they found his ignorance ridiculous. Lin Yi smiled when he heard it. This is just used for positioning. The three of them were slightly stunned, and at this time a terrifying force tore through the void and descended directly on their heads. It was a deep dark thunder, and the power contained in it seemed to gather the power of hundreds of celestial beings. It seemed to be a terrifying power that could create the world. Without thinking, the three of them were about to tear through the void and escape. But at this moment, Lin Yi made a move. The vast dark golden light turned into a long river, gushing out of his body. It instantly flooded towards the three of them, interrupting the void they were tearing apart. This long river contained a wonderful attraction that instantly trapped them. Rumble! 3 vast rays of light exploded in his golden long river, and in an instant, they destroyed the long river controlled by Lin Yi. The long river was destroyed, and the 3 figures were about to escape. But the dark lightning in the sky had turned into an invisible murderous intent, firmly locking the 3 of them. Not good. The 3 people felt something was wrong at the same time. 2 soul-level wills descended into Gu Huawei's mind. Quickly enter our domain, the 3 of us will join forces to tear open a passage. Gu Huawei flashed and rushed into the spiritual domain of Wuodao and Xuanhuan. There are a large number of solidified human souls inside the spiritual domain. At the moment when Gu Huawei entered the spiritual domain, black lightning directly flooded the spiritual domain, like a dark lightning column, reaching the ground directly. Rumble! In the roar of terrifying thunder, the earth was pierced, and countless lava appeared at the border of thunder. Lin Yi was naturally also in this thunder attack, submerged in the vast thunder light. At this time, Lin Yi opened the True Destiny Daoji and True Destiny Wujiang, and saw the spiritual domain submerged by thunder light. The spiritual domain was covered with a layer of colorful mysterious crystals, and the thunder around them hit these crystals madly. But these crystals were very tough, and under the impact of black thunder light, they only broke into pieces. The broken places would be quickly restored by the replenishment of countless soul particles inside. He saw the inside of the spiritual domain, which was a self-contained space and time, with countless humanoid souls frozen in it. At this time, these humanoid souls were rapidly collapsing, turning into a steady stream of particles, and injected into the crystals on the surface of the spiritual domain. Lin Yi frowned, and a hint of coldness appeared in his eyes. These soul harvesters are really slaughtering humans unscrupulously. At this time, the soul hunters and the ancient painting ash gathered together. 3 huge rays of light intertwined and rushed towards the bottom of the spirit realm. A space-time crack was torn open in an instant, and the entire spirit realm suddenly shrank to a range of tens of meters, and was about to rush into the space-time crack. But at this time, Lin Yi made another move. He came to the top of the space-time crack silently. The majestic dark golden river instantly covered the space-time crack, sealing this space-time again. The shrunken spirit realm collided with the dark golden river, and the light in Lin Yi's body suddenly consumed half. Lin Yi's power could not withstand the collision from the entire spirit realm. And there were endless black thunders around, which would also erode the power released by Lin Yi. However, Lin Yi's obstruction did stop the 3 people who were planning to escape. At the same time, The high-ranking officials of the empire hidden deep in the void also saw the opportunity. The second huge black thunder in the sky had fallen at the same time. This black lightning was even more terrifying, directly shattering all the space-time structures in this area, and the world seemed to have become nothingness in an instant. This lightning was directly superimposed on the previous lightning. After the two were superimposed, all space-time was directly shattered. The entire spirit realm was pressed down to the ground by the huge lightning. Crack, crack, crack. Countless cracks quickly spread to the crystals of the spirit realm. It seemed that the entire spirit realm was about to be shattered by the lightning. Gu Huahui, Wu Dao, and Xuanhuan were all furious, and they felt a sense of crisis. Once the spirit realm was broken, they would have to face this fatal attack. This attack came too suddenly and was too powerful. The power in it was enough to attack with all the strength of hundreds of immortals. Their power system was different from the immortal system. They were not immune to attacks from energy, matter, soul, space, and time. That was the result of the cultivation of the immortal system. Although they also had their own system power characteristics. At this time, Wu Dao and Xuanhuan looked serious and made a decision in an instant. The brilliance of the two intertwined, and a loud roar was heard. The gate of the soul, the light of domination. In an instant, the power of the two entangled with each other and turned into a mysterious portal. Infinite soul light bloomed from it, and at the same time, the door slowly opened a gap. A vague figure flickered in the crack of the door, and infinite soul light leaked out from it. In an instant, the void created by the shattered space and time was illuminated by infinite light. The spirit realm was drawn into it like a whirlpool. Gu Huahui was directly missed and exposed outside the spirit realm. Anger instantly appeared on Gu Huawei's face, and he knew that he was being tricked. Damn it, you guys are really untrustworthy. Open the door to the other world for me. In an instant, Gu Huawei's body twisted instantly and turned into a black vortex. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 630. Infinite strange power gushed out from it, and a black torrent broke out in this black thunder. The turbulent torrent rushed out of this space and time covered by thunder. At the same time, a colorful bridge rose from the gate of the soul, directly penetrated this area, and reached hundreds of kilometers away. In the gate, a group of brilliant spirit domain was flashing. Then this spirit domain was like a cannonball, spraying along this long rainbow bridge. Wherever this long rainbow bridge passed, nothingness was fixed, as if forming a stable space and time. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow dot. The spirit domain cannonball was about to break through the area of black thunder in an instant. But in this process, infinite thunder continued to attack this rainbow light bridge, making it shake all the time. The gate to the other world opened, and in the black torrent, a figure was rushing along the torrent toward the outside of the thunder. Gu Huahui and Wu Dao showed their magical powers to rush out of this land of death. At this time, Lin Yi, after consuming nearly half of his power, attacked again. He transformed into a 3-meter tall dark golden giant, and the surging power surged out of his body. Two huge dark golden arms slapped the rainbow light bridge and the long river of the power of the other world respectively. His attack was just right, and the dark golden shadow covered the black shadow in the long river and the spiritual realm on the light bridge. Rumble. Two balls of light exploded in the void, and the spiritual realm flying on the light bridge, the figure in the strange torrent, heavily collided with the two huge dark golden hands of light. The two dark golden hands of light shattered in the collision, but only slightly prevented the departure of the two huge forces. At this time, the high-ranking officials of the empire saw the opportunity, and the third thunder came down in tacit agreement, and it was superimposed on the other two thunders again. Ka-ka-ka. The colorful light bridge collapsed instantly. The strange long river was also decomposed by the endless thunder in an instant. The figures of Lingyu and Gu Huahui were exposed in the thunder again. This time they had no other way. The Lingyu was shattered by the superposition of three thunders, and the two figures became illusory in an instant, and then were submerged by thunder. Two angry wills sounded. "Damn it, we will come back." Then the figures of Liudeo and Xuanhuan disappeared completely from the Red Lotus realm. The Lingyu is the reliance of soul hunters to enter the Red Lotus realm. Once it is destroyed, they will be ejected from this world immediately. Because their arrival is only power, not the arrival of their true bodies. The Lingyu is the key to their power to form a body. Once it is broken, their power will be forced to be ejected from the Red Lotus realm. Although the invasion of the two of them failed, at most their bodies were affected and suffered considerable damage. Gu Huawei was the real one. Under the superposition of the three thunders, the gate to the other world he transformed into was also destroyed directly. Then his body hidden in the strange torrent was also covered by the thunder light. Bang! Like a bubble bursting, a black light suddenly annihilated and disappeared in the endless thunder light. All this seems to be a long time, but it actually happened in less than a few seconds. Looking far away in the direction of the strange army, a black lightning column with a diameter of hundreds of meters fell from the sky and directly penetrated the core position of the strange army on the ground. Everything there disappeared without a trace. With the lightning column as the center, within a radius of 5 kilometers, all the strange existences were almost eliminated by 70%. Most of them died from the glory of the god of the sun, and the thunder power behind them actually did little damage to them. But this destroyed area is less than 1/3 of the entire strange army. As the ancient painting ash was submerged in thunder, the remaining strange army seemed to have undergone strange changes. They paused for a moment, then began to kill each other madly, as if they had lost some kind of restraint. Above the sky, Dao Tianxian and other Tianxian Dao masters, as well as more than 300 Dixian Dao masters, formed a mysterious formation. Every Dixian Dao master was pale, having just burned his life 3 times in a row with all his strength. It was 3 times more than the total life burned in the previous battle. Now each of them was panting, and although they swallowed the spare life crystals, this consumption still made them feel frightened. Because every consumption of life made them feel that death was approaching them rapidly. And after using the life crystals, this feeling of death would quickly move away from them. The roller coaster-like feeling was unbearable for anyone. At this time, what happened in the strange army attracted the attention of all of them. Dao Tianxian's eyes showed a trace of solemnity. What's going on? The Empire's Huang Yuxian frowned slightly as he looked at the changes below. The battlefield was in chaos, and more strange fog rose from the battlefield. Originally, the sun god had almost blown away most of the strange fog, but now the fog is gathering again. This scene was obviously beyond everyone's expectations. The dean's pupils shrank. Not good. These strange creatures are devouring each other, and a new king is about to be born. This situation has occurred in our experiments. Once more than tens of thousands of strange beings gather together, they will fight each other. Until a more powerful king emerges. Order the coalition forces to go out immediately. Destroy all the strange armies. At the same time, we continue to prepare for concentrated fire. Once a powerful strange being appears, it will be killed with one strike. Targeted elimination. Hearing the words of the hospital director, everyone was awed. Then Huang Yuxian's thoughts had descended on the front line of the empire. At the front line command center, Tang Shenzhu received Huang Yuxian's message, and a gleam of light appeared in his eyes. This is my chance, the war of unification. With the power of a great victory, unify the Red Lotus realm and ascend to the position of Prime Minister. Tang Shenzhu looked at all the officials in the command center and said in a loud voice, issue an order, the entire army will be dispatched to destroy the strange army. I will fight in person. As soon as the words fell, a vast purple light rose from Tang Shenzhu's body. In an instant, the situation changed. The elite troops of the empire, all those who had refined the immortal dragon seeds, felt the changes in their bodies. A resonance was slowly spreading, and a figure came to the front line. A purple true dragon phantom rose from his body and merged with the aura of countless soldiers in the entire army. Roar. The capital of the empire, below the Red Lotus city. A red light rose into the sky, echoing the purple true dragon on the front line. It was all the remaining dragon energy of the empire.